Do you ever feel like there's no point to life and like you don't want to get out of bed because what difference will it make? I've definitely felt like that a lot, especially in the past. But I've found some ways to work around this or to get myself that sense of meaning back, and I want to give you a few ways that I've done that in this video to help anybody else that's lost that sense of direction or groundedness, or maybe even for someone that's never found it to begin with. The first thing that I did to pull myself out of that rut of just feeling like hopeless and like nothing mattered was to step away from technology for about an hour a day. No phones, no TV screens, no headphones, no nothing. And a lot of the time I'll just take a walk. I'll do anything to get away from it all. For an hour a day at least. And if the walk takes longer than an hour, that's fine too. Just get yourself away from these apps and all these different forms of entertainment that are just taking your attention away from you. Because it gives you a sense of grounding when you can step away from it all for a little bit. Especially when you're going down the endless reels and the endless posts of influencers and other people, and just the comparative nature of it all can bring you down, and it can make you lose your sense of self because you're more so worried about the world at large through a screen or what everybody else's interpretation of the world is and everything going on with their life rather than your own. So you want to step away from looking at other people's lives online and really get a sense of your own life and who you want to be and where you want to go. Another thing that's really helped me is having a strong sense of belief about progress and about the power of the passage of time. There's a quote that helps me sometimes, and it's, if you took an average day in your life right now, how you spend your average day, however it is, if you did that every day for the next 5 years, what would your life look like? Would you be in the same spot you're in now? Would you be somewhere drastically different? Would it be better? Would it be worse? It gives you a strong sense of perspective when you're confronted with a quote like that. And it can be really helpful in some massive ways. Because imagine if you began going to the gym, or you began reading more often, or you began learning a new subject. Even at first, it's going to be difficult or annoying or boring. It's not going to be exactly an exciting process. If you can remain pointing towards the future, there is a new incentive to go over all the difficult moments and to be able to stick it out and sit in the painful, confusing parts of learning a new subject or being afraid of how other people might see you at the gym, because that's something that really affected me. My first month or so at the gym was just terrible, especially when I started going by myself, because you feel like an idiot. At least I did. I felt like everybody was watching me and they could see how I was lifting wrong, or they could totally tell that I had no idea what I was doing. But I continued because I knew that I wanted to keep going to the gym in the next 5 years, and I also knew that as long as I kept showing up, eventually it would get easier, and eventually I would be happy with the person that I became sitting through all of the turmoil. Something else that gives me a strong sense of meaning is developing my vision and really deciding on who it is that I want to be and what it is that I want to accomplish in my life, along with what I want to be surrounded by on a daily basis. And different eras of your life spark different desires for what you want, because usually it's what you're lacking that really amplifies what you want. But something that I've wanted for a long time was I wanted the ability to speak. And with a channel like this, that is a perfect example of me moving inch by inch towards what I want to do. Because although this isn't on a stadium in front of thousands of people, or however I imagined it when I was younger, this is a form of me communicating to my world that this is what I want, and this is what I want to return to, and this is where I want to place myself, because this is truly what I want for my life. And even just a small thing like that, if you can make your larger ambitions feel like a reality now by feeding into them in the limited ways that you can, it can make you feel like those larger victories or those larger settings, like talking on a stadium. It makes you feel like those are more possible, like those are within your grasp, because you're already doing the more minimal setting up and planting of seeds. But yeah, ask yourself, what do you want with your life? I would like a bunch of loyal and sincere friends around me. And I would like my family to be closer than they are. And I would like to keep speaking, and I would like for more people to tune into what I have to say. And I believe the only way that I can achieve all these things is if I begin pointing myself towards all these things and keeping it in my mind that these are concrete goals of mine. And I don't know what goals you have for your life. I don't know if you have it all figured out when it comes to what you want ultimately. But if you can figure out just one nice thing that you would like to have in your life, that can be enough to position yourself in the now to do the right things that you need today to achieve it next week, next month, next year, whenever. But if you don't have that sense of direction, and you have no clue what you want for your life, and you have no clear vision in your head about what exactly it is that you want, then there's a sinking feeling involved with that. Like nothing is happening, or like nothing feels concrete around you. There's no sense of mission or purpose. And that's what it seems like a lot of people today are missing out on. And that has been a lot of my adult life. I have been ambitious since I was about 20, and I decided on a lot of things that I wanted for my life, like speaking and writing and going to the gym and things like that. But before that, I was sinking in the void of life. I did not have a clear sense of what I wanted to achieve in my life, or where I was headed, or who I even was. And I can really resonate with somebody who's going through that right now. Mainly because I'm just now pulling myself out of it. I'm still in it in a lot of ways, but, you know, a lot of these pieces of advice that I've given in this video today have really turned me around in a lot of different ways in rediscovering the meaning of my life and realizing that you can find it again, even if it feels impossible, or like you've never had it ever to begin with. But that's really what will help you, is developing your vision for who you want to be in the next 5, 10, 15 years. Because as soon as you can have that North Star for the future, you can begin aiming towards it today and rediscover that sense of meaning in yourself that feels impossible to find at times. Because at the end of the day, it's worth it. I mean, to find a reason to get out of bed, to find a reason to work towards something and to build yourself from the ground up, that's what it's all about. That is a strong sense of purpose in this life, and having a reason behind what you're doing and where you're headed and why you're headed there, and being able to answer these questions really determines what you're going to get out of life. It determines how you speak to yourself. It determines how you think about yourself. It determines your emotional state, because a lot of depression and despair is a result of this lost feeling in the world today that I've been a product of. So, find your sense of meaning in the world. It's there. It's waiting for you to find it. It's not invisible and it's not impossible to achieve. It is waiting for you to find it. But, a lot of things don't happen in this life until you start making them happen. And meaning is not just going to deliver itself to your front door. There is such a thing as luck, and some people can find their meaning because they're at the right place at the right time, but in my case, that is not at all what happened. It was very much me having different epiphanies in my life and being hit with ideas that gave me more concrete knowledge of who I want to be and how I'm going to get there. So, that's today's word. Find meaning in your life again. It's there to be found, but there must be a sense of direction, and there must be a sense of progress. So, thanks for watching.